and welcome to the Hanatsubaki Hall of Shiseido Company. This is quite a venue, and I'm all excited to be here, and I'm pretty sure that all of you are. And today we'll be talking about the beauty, and because beauty is such an important concept, at the same time, I think every one of us can define beauty in the way that we would like. So there isn't any universal concept of beauty, and particularly so because there's so many different kinds of people, and a lot of, we talk about diversity today. So I think that will lead us to a different definition of beauty, and I think it's even more important because we are in the middle of the social media era. So that means that we tend to be very conscious of how we look. And so probably appearance may come kind of first when we're talking about beauty. But I think the concept itself is much deeper than that. And that's the kind of thing that we would like to discuss today. And we do have some people from Shiseido. How many of you are from Shiseido? Okay, these are the, probably, there are quite a few, as a matter of fact. And they may be the experts, or they may know too much about beauty. So those who are not from Shiseido can make a lot of contribution as to coming up with an interesting new concept of beauty. And we will have a discussion as we always do. We will have I will ask you a question first, and then I would like each one of you to share the response to the question, and then I'll have a speaker from Shiseido talking about what beauty is all about. And then we'll get into the other breakout session, and at the end we would like each one of the groups to report back. How many of you, this is the first time? Other than the people from Shiseido. Okay, so that's quite a few. Okay, that's good. Okay, that's good. Let me start off with the question then. Think of the person that you think is beautiful. I'm pretty sure you met with a person who you describe as beautiful. So think of the person that comes to your mind when you hear the term beautiful. Think about it, 30 seconds. And now I would like each one of you to share your person, beautiful person, with your neighbor, right next to, rather than the group, just, do it in 2 or 3. Yeah. Explain who they are and why do you think this person beautiful. Okay, some interesting ideas. Did any one of you sort of find something quite interesting? Share it with us. Go ahead.
So I talked with the Mie-san, and then Mie-san shared two
Yes.
persons that she thinks is beautiful.
Yes.
And first person is let's say Ayase Haruka. She likes her because her charming aspects and the very funny part. And then the second person is the one that I got very impressed with. The second person is Audrey Hepburn. And then everyone thinks that Audrey Hepburn is a pretty and nice figure, but the reason why she thinks she's beautiful is more like inner beauty. So she went to Audrey Hepburn photo exhibitions, and then she read Audrey Hepburn's poem. And then from poem, she kind of felt that Audrey Hepburn has really warm heart, and then even think a lot about poor people, and then UNICEF and etc. Okay. So it's more coming from inner beauty.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. Thank you very much. So you can share some of your neighbors. You don't have to share yours, but you can share with us, you know, if you find somebody else talking about somebody interesting aspect of you. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Actually, I was late, so
Yeah.
maybe I cannot just present our conversation.
Okay.
That's my personal opinion. Recently, this is about beauty. It's really an interesting topic to me. Recently, I had the chance to talk with Iles Migro, who was the national director of Miss Universe Japan for over 10 years, and she produced one winner and one runner-up and one semi-finalist for Japan.
I see.
Right. So I was ask her, so how she thinks about beauty.
I see.
So yeah, and also I asked advice from her, and she said the confidence is the essence of beauty, because if you look at the mirror, if you like yourself, you think you are beautiful. So it doesn't matter how the other people think about you. So I think that's very important. Yeah, and also she mentioned the inner beauty. So I think, and also I during the talk I found that she is a very beautiful woman because she is successful with her career. She's not only produced the Miss Universe world. Now she's working for Miss World Singapore. So also she said she loved traveling, and also she is involved with some NPO activities.
Okay.
And I was thinking she's a role model of beauty.
Okay,
Yeah.
great. Thank you very much. Anybody else? That reminds me of the remarks that I heard from Ginny Rometty, who is the CEO of IBM. I went to this luncheon organized by IBM yesterday or the day before? The day before, okay. Thank you. Because I have had so many different things, so it's getting a little bit blurry. That was the topic. The topic of that luncheon was advancing women leaders, business leaders, and Ginny Rometty and others. Mrs. Abe gave a keynote speech. But what Ginny said is that you need to define yourself. Don't let anybody else define you. So, and I think she's really talking about the confidence, as you talked about. And I also remember that John Maeda, who used to be at MIT Media Lab and who was the dean of the Rhode Island Design School, he said, if you have somebody who believes in you, that makes all the difference in life. But sometimes you can't find somebody who believes in you. And if that's the case, you have to believe in yourself. That is very much related to confidence. So I think it's that kind of thing is very much related to, you know, people who are described as beautiful. Anybody else? Go ahead.
Yes, it's very interesting to hear the Nobel saying that he found beauty in the recognition of David Cameron. David Cameron's recognition today.
Okay.
So he found beauty in his style.
Okay.
I think.
Okay. So the concept is that the fact that he resigned, or did he give a speech or something, or what?
His speech.
Oh, his speech. Okay.
Only 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But
Why don't you explain?
today, I saw his YouTube, his speech given by David Cameron.
Yeah.
He was very frank, honest, and very quick after he lost his referendum. Because in my country, the former Tokyo governor stick to the power.
Right.
And he didn't resign, no? So he showed us very contrast. Great contrast.
I I see.
And I honestly thought he was very cool indeed.
So as you know, the Brexit is taking place. So unless, unlike, or I don't think we were sort of expecting this result, that the United Kingdom is going to leave EU. That was the sort of the notion, the view that many of us had up until today. But they lost. So United Kingdom is going to leave EU. And David Cameron is the one who really pushed for remain, stay. So he was like, he lost essentially. But what you were saying is that he said, well, this is what happened. And I decided to give a referendum, and this is what the people decided to do. So I'll follow, and I resign. Very simple, very straightforward, very honest. And he compared that with the governor of Tokyo, whom we are not going to talk about. Okay, anything else? Any other interesting concept of beauty? Go ahead.
Michael and I were talking about beauty, and we were talking about how women are beautiful. And what I found really interesting was he talked a little bit about the scent, the fragrance. And we Japanese men are not used to talking about the fragrance. When we talk about the scent of fragrance, it's more like a negative feelings. We don't have people wearing fragrance every day. But he was talking about the women who are wearing the fragrance, and he feels a little bit of beauty in those kind of fragrance. And that was interesting for me, because it's very different from me.
Yeah.
And actually,
Yeah.
That was my
you asked who you think about,
Yeah.
or what image.
Yeah.
And my definition, what I think of beauty, I think of course, well, I think more superficially, to be honest. I think of eyes, and then I think more of personality, maybe Hakurei, more bright. And the image, of course, I had was my wife.
Is she around?
Yeah. So
She is?
it's
Okay.
dedicated to
Okay.
her.
There she is.
And
Okay.
you can have her.
Yeah. Okay, that's good. Great. That's a great way of using this occasion. And your wife. But fragrance is very interesting. What's the name of that movie that Al Pacino? Scent of Women? Yeah. So fragrance, I mean, sometimes when, I think it takes place, it happens more often in overseas. You get into the elevator and there's this scent.
We're just talking about that.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And sometimes the fragrance reminds you of the person. And but that doesn't really happen in here. So I think that's a very interesting concept. Okay, anything else? Go ahead.
What I thought impressive for me was what Shito-san said. She said that her mother is a beautiful woman.
I see.
And she said her mother, because her mother loved her so much and raised her up. So I have a 2-year-old son. So I want to be like the woman that he think.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. Probably 10 years later, we'll ask your son, who do you think is a beautiful person? Okay, that's good. Excellent. Okay, we'll get back to that. But now let me introduce Mihoko Nagai of Shiseido. And she's going to share with us how the beauty is defined and how is it pursued in Shiseido and her own personal story.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Mihoko Nagai. I'm working in corporate communications at Shiseido. And we communicate Shiseido's corporate vision and activities to our stakeholders, such as customers, consumers, shareholders, business partners, and our employees worldwide. I could spend hours talking about my job, but today I want us to think about this theme. What is beauty? Yes. I'm really hesitant to say that, but the kanji of my name means a woman maintaining beauty eternally. Thank you for laughing. Thank you. So I'd like to think that I'm somehow destined to be here today to talk about this theme with you. What is beauty? This theme sounds simple, but answering this question is even more difficult. Originally, our industry exists to show and realize the answers to this question. But we are always struggling to come up with the right answers. So today, I will share my fundamental and personal perspective with you, and then let's think about the theme together. Before going deeper into the theme, I'm gonna tell a story. But first, let me start with a quiz. There are 8 different photos of women. Please take a look and think which woman is most beautiful to you. Is there anyone who wants to share their thought or preference? Any volunteers? Or is there anyone who has never seen this one? Okay. How about you? Would you please share your preference? Which?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Bottom line,
Bottom.
most right.
Right?
Okay.
This woman?
Yes.
What is the main reason? Briefly, please.
I can see a lot of skin.
Thank you very much for your honest thought. Okay, actually, this is a screenshot of a short video having 30 seconds long. So please, please watch it together. Yes. Are you surprised? No. Are you surprised? All the women is the same person. From this, we can understand the impact of makeup and hairstyle. Yes, these things can shape how you are viewed by other people. So we can say that the makeup, hairstyle, maybe clothing, have strong impact to manage appearance and to change people's perception easily. Yes, appearance is important for being beautiful. But it is not an essential component of beauty because it is easily changed, as you saw. Let me share my personal story that explains why I got started at Shiseido. People often ask me, and this story is also connected to the topic we are discussing today. Well, when I was in high school, my mother had breast cancer. It was quite serious. She needed surgery immediately. It was 35 years ago. The surgical technique was less advanced than today. It was a major operation, challenging for her and for my family, including me as well. Very fortunately, the surgery went well, but recovering was not easy for her. For a few days, she looked so tired and so depressed. I didn't know if she could recover to her normal life again, and I didn't know how to cheer her up. But a few days later, when I was visiting her as usual, she asked me to buy and bring something. Those were Shiseido's Deluxe skincare lotion and emulsion, as on the screen. I was so happy when she asked for this. And for me, this was a symbol that she moved on from this bad experience and was going back to her normal life and looking ahead to recovery and taking control over her appearance and her life itself. She wanted to be beautiful, which was hope and power to live for her. For me, this was a life-changing experience where I learned the impact of cosmetic on empowering people live positively. And this experience motivated me to devote myself to working in this industry. That's why I joined Shiseido after finishing college. Beauty has strong power. The power to manage people's perception and the power to generate energy. And I believe we need to utilize this power positively. Is this easy? Actually, I don't think so. Instead, it's quite challenging. Why so? I have two reasons. Let me explain the first reason by comparing cosmetics with a completely different industry, with car industry. When we think about the value for customer, many values related to car are measured numerically and logically. Speed, power, fuel efficiency, all are objective matter. On the other hand, the value related to cosmetics are mainly feeling, preference, and aspiration, all emotional and subjective. Yes, beauty is very subjective. It has a strong connection with heart and mind, person's internal feeling. Let me move on to the second reason. Shiseido's business is broad. We are operating in over 120 countries, which are very different from each other. In Europe, approximately 50%, half of entire market is fragrance, while in Japan, it's only a few percent. In the US and European countries, people prefer sticky, rich texture in creams. But here in Japan, people like watery, light texture because of a lot of humidity. What people want, value, prefer is totally different. Beauty is strongly influenced by cultural and ethnic differences. Therefore, concepts of beauty should be extremely diverse. This means that there is no single interpretation or no single definition of beauty. Therefore, instead of depending on one-size-fits-all approach, we are responsible for dealing with people's diverse needs through our business. However, in today's beauty industry, there are some stereotypical concepts which are generating some negative influences. Let me share 3 examples. First of all, designers tend to use extremely skinny model because it is so difficult to be skinny in general. They are used as an almost impossible role models to be achieved. However, such skinny shape is not healthy. This is causing some problems like eating disorder, particularly for younger generation. This is a recent article posted in Huffington Post in UK. It says that the mayor of London decided to prohibit advertisements which promotes an unrealistic and unhealthy body image in London subway. Second, there has been a lot of retouching in advertising images. This has been done to remove imperfections and to resize the body shape where someone feels it's needed. Retouching can have a large impact on the way a picture looks. Yes, this is my photo. This is a photo of me taken yesterday. And yes, this is me, real me, right? Okay. This is taken by a professional photographer and retouched to remove my wrinkles and enhance the outlines of eyelines or something. And it looks totally different. So thank you very much for today's advanced technology, but I feel a little bit guilty, and yes, it's not comfortable for me, actually. This is another example of retouching. Looks totally different, right? And this is example of the resizing the body shape. Yes, this is Katie calling. So, however, please think about it. A perfect body shape or a perfect face cannot exist. But our industry presents these as ideas for how people should look. I think this is not the right thing. Third is that aging is considered negative and usefulness something positive. But aging is natural, should be accepted for everybody. The most important thing is that we appreciate that we can age beautifully and we can age positively. In Shiseido's corporate communications, we use the phrase successful aging instead of anti-aging when we describe our marketing. I talked about 3 issues: skinny model, retouching, and anti-aging. All 3 offer standardized goals of beauty that cannot be achieved. They influence people to aim for an unnatural and unattainable goals they will never reach. Regarding the beauty, we need to remember is that beauty cannot be standardized. It's diverse. And beauty is not just external, it's internal as well. I strongly feel that our entire industry should be responsible for promoting this mindset more, and we should help people promote their own individual beauty more freely and more positively. Again, let me give another example based on my own experience. Almost 7 years ago, my family and I relocated to a small city named Ithaca in New York State for 2 years. During that period, I took a leave of absence from the company and decided to do volunteer work in the senior citizens retirement home, which was next to my apartment, for providing hand massage and nail care. I will never forget one particular resident. Let me call her Jessica. Jessica was in her mid-70s. She needed 100% support from the nurse. She couldn't use her hands at all. She had had this disability since she was born. She's never smiled, always when I visiting her. But one day, she asked me to apply bright red nail polish manicure. Her nails were kind of dirty because of her disability. I cleaned up her nails one by one and applied bright, beautiful red nail polish for her as she asked. When it's completed, she started to smile brightly, looking at her hand. I realized that this small thing gave her a lot of happiness. Beauty can provide happiness. Happiness is really important. When people feel happiness inside, they show that emotion outside as well, like Jessica. Let me go back to my mother's story. At the moment, she asked me to bring Shiseido's skincare after her surgery. People could say that she was focusing on living again, but more than that, she hoped to live beautifully. Beauty is hope to live. This is a symbol of the richness and the power of mind. Beauty can empower people to live positively. And this idea resonates with us at Shiseido. As our mission statement says, we inspire a life of beauty and culture. This means our activities are beyond just developing products. We are also embracing beautiful culture in people's life by empowering people to express themselves, their own beauty in different ways. Beauty can change people's mind and heart positively. I believe it means beauty can change the world positively. Thank you very much for listening to my story.
Okay, thank you very much. It's quite moving and it's a very beautiful story, I thought. Now it's time for you to work. So in each one of these groups, we have 2 topics, so you can take either one of the 2. The first one is, what is going to be the beauty in 2020? Beauty, the concept of beauty has changed, and it's evolving. So assume we are in 2020, that's the when the Olympics is going to be held in Tokyo and stuff. But I mean, it's like 4 years out. So it's not like 10 years out. So think of the beauty. What do you think is going to be a beauty in 2020? That's the first question. And the second one is that, as we talk about, we are in the middle of the 4th Industrial Revolution and in the middle of the social media, which really focuses, or which gives a lot of priority to how we look. I mean, if we are talking about Instagram or Facebook, often we show a lot of pictures, right? So we are more or less concerned about how we look. So how do you define beauty in the era of social media? So these are the 2 questions. And I think we have 10 groups altogether, right? So what, if I can be arbitrarily, or if I can, yeah, probably I should do that, just to save time. These 3 and these 2, you're going to take 2020. And the rest is going to be social media and beauty. So these groups, 5 groups, you can take social media, the beauty in social media. And each one of you has the whiteboard. So you can write whatever you want. And what I would suggest is, well, you've sort of discussed a little bit in the table. But introduce yourself very quickly at the beginning, and then get into the discussion. You have about 45 minutes or so, and write whatever you want, or whatever approach that you want to take is fine. And at about 9 o'clock, I'll ask each group to report back in like 2 minutes. Clear? Okay.